Namo Amituofo. Our lotus friends, Namo Amituofo. I wish you all a very happy new year. And we start out this year with a Dharma talk titled Practice in Amitabha Recitation by Master Hui Jing. Now please join palms and recite Amitabha Buddha with me 3 times. Namo Amituofo. Namo Amituofo. Namo Amituofo. Please release your palms. Now, to recite Amitabha's name single-mindedly and exclusively, without variation in every single thought, whether walking, standing, sitting, or lying down, whether for long or short periods, that is the karma of assurance. It is so because it accords with Amitabha Buddha's vow. And this was written by Master Shanda. Name recitation is the practice specified in Amitabha's fundamental vow. So when the patriarchs mention Amitabha's fundamental vow, they speak of Amitabha recitation because it complies with the teaching given by Shakyamuni Buddha in the sutras and transmitted by the patriarchs. For those reasons, we do not practice any other form of Buddha invocations, but Amitabha recitation only. Amitabha recitation is a form of Buddha invocation because it is focal and written in symbols and words. It is the general impression that the other 3 kinds of Buddha invocations are more superior in level, and name recitation is comparatively inferior. Actually, that is not the case. It is extremely simple and most ordinary, but it is also most profound. This name accommodates all beings of superior, medium, and inferior virtuous roots, and embraces people of lower as well as higher aptitudes. How should practitioners of Amitabha recitation live their lives? Amitabha recitation should become the focus of our lives. Thus, we can say Amitabha recitation is our lives, and our lives are Amitabha recitation. Let our lives always be filled with Amitabha through our recitations. So how do we develop this habit? One sentence of 5 words, or in Chinese it will be 10 Chinese characters. And this is every day start with Amitabha recitation. For a practitioner of Amitabha recitation who truly takes refuge in Namo Amitabha, his aspiration is very earnest. But what about his mind of taking refuge? He must totally rely on Amitabha Buddha with his whole body and mind, and even his life. His life is Amitabha's life, and Amitabha's life is his life. Amitabha recitation permeates all he does in his life. As a person of Amitabha recitation, he is one entity with Amitabha Buddha. They are inseparable in terms of his aptitude, that is acceptance for rebirth, and Amitabha's teachings. Thus, he is truly a practitioner of Amitabha recitation. On our side, it is said to recite and recite without forsaking. On Amitabha's side, it is said to embrace without forsaking. It is similar to a person who is nearly drowned at sea. Suddenly, he is put on a boat. This time, he will not leave the boat, and the boat will not abandon him as it sails. Start each new day with Amitabha recitation. If a person earnestly wants to leave the cycle of birth and death, and has a deep understanding of the weight of karmic offenses we all carry, he will gratefully rely on Amitabha Buddha and persistently recite his name. The serene joy of our teachings comes from the doctrines and also from Amitabha recitation. There are two meanings of continuous recitation without forsaking. Encouragement with respect to the aptitude of practitioners and continuity with respect to the virtues of Amitabha's teaching, that is, vow power. Continuity with respect to the virtues of Amitabha's teaching, vow power. What does it mean? As we take refuge and follow Amitabha's fundamental vow, we should know that none of the 84,000 teachings can save us. Because we cannot master them, there is only one destination left to us: hell. What keeps us away from the burning hellfire, liberates us from reincarnation within the six realms, and leads to rebirth in the Pure Land to accomplish Buddhahood? It is the name, Namo Amitabha. Knowing our diminished capabilities, we naturally recite Amitabha's name without difficulty, because we realize we have no alternative way out. Though we may be proficient in all practices, we know they are insufficient to rescue us from the endless cycle of birth and death. There is only one way in front of us: Amitabha recitation. Subsequently, we naturally recite Amitabha's name without hesitation or worries. It is just like believing we have a lot of money, but discover that all of it is in counterfeit banknotes, except one. We naturally use the genuine banknote, in this case, Amitabha Buddha. We naturally recite Amitabha's name. The more earnest our desire for liberation, the more sincere or the more sincerely and diligently we will recite this name. This is known as continuity with respect to the virtues of the teachings regarding Amitabha's vow power. Because most sentient beings like to take it easy and not work hard, we don't want to recite Amitabha's name at times. Instead, we want to read a newspaper or magazine, to watch TV or listen to music, or chat with friends and relatives over the phone, or shopping and hanging out. At these times, we have to encourage ourselves. As Master Honen says, one who is tired of reciting Amitabha's name loses immeasurable treasures. One who is courageous in reciting Amitabha's name realizes boundless enlightenment. In this respect, we feel ashamed and encourage ourselves. I have 4 hours a day. How many recitations can I do? It's good to allow about 80% of my time to recite Amitabha's name. If we don't fix some time to do it, we shall unconsciously let the time pass away too easily. This is known as encouragement with respect to the aptitude of practitioners. Encouragement with respect to the aptitude of practitioners refers to our own encouragement. Some of us may wonder, if we urge ourselves to recite Amitabha's name so often, is it regarded as self-power or other power? It is still entirely other power. Our striving only matters because we know that we are assured of rebirth through Amitabha recitation. Apart from Amitabha recitation, you have no other meritorious practices or other virtues to fulfill your aspiration for rebirth. Though you may have virtues from other practices, you do not dedicate them. This is because we learned that Amitabha recitation is the definite karma of assured rebirth in accord with Amitabha's 18th vow. With this state of mind, encouragement with respect to the aptitude of practitioners is not regarded as self-power. I repeat, with this state of mind, Okay, it's very important. This is a very important statement. With this state of mind, encouragement with respect to the aptitude of practitioners is not regarded as self-power. If we don't have worldly thoughts during Amitabha recitation, we feel relaxed and calm, and our temperament will also improve. However, if we still have many scattered thoughts during Amitabha recitation, we can follow Master Yin Guang's method of counting 10 during our practice. We can try to recite by 3, 3, 4, or 5, 5 times in one breath. In so doing, we can greatly reduce our miscellaneous thoughts. In particular, when we recite right after getting up in the morning, it is easier to have our mind relaxed and calm, stable and tranquil. So try to use the counting 10 method in the morning to realize tranquility, peace, and calmness. How can we recite Amitabha's name to reduce elusive and miscellaneous thoughts? First, be sincere and relevant. Amitabha's name is active and dynamic, not rigidly black and white, and certainly not an ordinary sound. The name and Amitabha's body are one entity. Though they are two in words, they are actually one. It is similar to our body, which consists of eyes, ears, mouth, brain, limbs, etc. As a Buddha, Amitabha possesses the three cognitive powers and the six paranormal powers, hundreds and thousands of dharani, great kindness, compassion, and great wisdom. However, where do all these powers reside? They are all contained in his name. This name consists of Amitabha's eyes, ears, heart, liver, brain, kindness, compassion, wisdom, paranormal powers, and vow power. So when we recite his name, we have to be sincere, reverent, and grateful. If we are sincere and earnest, we will try to be focused and exclusive in our practice. Imagine a child who suffers from a critical illness or is hurt in a serious car accident. We beg and pray to gods or bodhisattvas for help. At those times, we will definitely be sincere. If we are sincere in praying, we shall not be distracted with other thoughts. We should recite Amitabha's name with this same frame of mind. Amitabha is a Buddha, so we should be respectful and reverent to him. Amitabha Buddha delivers us from the sea of birth and death. We live in the burning house of the three domains and the sea of suffering in the six realms, endlessly floating up and sinking down without any possibility of escape. Now, we are finally delivered by Amitabha Buddha, so we must be grateful for Amitabha sharing his great virtues and recite his name sincerely and reverently. If we are sincere, our elusive and miscellaneous thoughts will be comparatively less. It is very hard to be totally gone, but is comparatively less. Second, listening with a concentrated mind. This means paying attention. If we are attentive, we should have fewer distracted and miscellaneous thoughts. Next, we should listen carefully with our ears, no matter whether we recite aloud, in a low voice, whisper, or within our hearts. Since we focus on hearing our voice during Amitabha recitation, we will be less distracted by the surrounding sounds or noises. Whoever comes and goes, we do not pay attention. Whatever sounds come and go, we hear without being distracted. It is because we are single-minded and focus attentively. It is known as listening with a concentrated mind. Third, counting by 10. Whether we recite aloud in a low voice, whisper, or in our hearts, we count 10 at a time. That means when we recite the first one, we are aware it is the first. When we recite the second time, we are aware it is the second. When we recite the third time, we are aware it is the third, up to 10. Every recitation is clear and distinct. After 10, we start another 10 from 1. If you find it is difficult to count 10 at a time, you can count 3, 3, 4, adding up to 10. This method is known as counting by 10. Counting by 10 is regarded as listening with a concentrated mind while reciting sincerely and reverently. If we can recite Amitabha's name by counting 10 at a time, we have fewer miscellaneous thoughts. Though we may have some, they are reduced and less coarse. If we cannot clearly count up to 10, it means we still have a scattered mind. It is a good idea to use the method of counting by 10, whether we have regular time to recite or whether we fix the number of recitations in a day. How do we recite Amitabha's name? Is there any standard in recitation? We strive to be always mindful without forsaking. We should always be mindful of Namo Amituofo. Keep reciting with our mouths and merge Amitabha recitation with our daily life. As Master Shandao says, recite without forsaking, during walking, standing, sitting, or lying down. It should be practiced at any time, in any place, and under various conditions. Regardless of what we do at any time and in any place, we can recite Amitabha's name. If we come to the Buddhist temple for the sole purpose of reciting Amitabha's name, it is known as Amitabha recitation practice with a concentrated mind, because we focus on recitation and do nothing else. Even though we do other things, as long as we don't need to think with our brain, we can recite. This is known as Amitabha recitation with a distracted mind. Thus, when we continuously recite, we can do it with either a concentrated or distracted mind. Amitabha recitation can be practiced with either a concentrated or distracted mind. Concentrated mind means when we have nothing to do in our spare or leisure time, we can focus and concentrate on Amitabha recitation for half an hour up to 3 hours or 5,000 or 10,000 times. This is called Amitabha recitation with a concentrated mind. We recite with a distracted mind when we need to work. Our eyes see objects and our ears hear sounds, so we cannot be concentrated. Though we are not concentrated, it does not prevent us from reciting Amitabha's name. We can move our lips in reciting while working. In this way, we can recite Amitabha's name while walking, sitting, standing, and lying all day long and under any circumstances. In that way, we are always with Amitabha Buddha, and Amitabha Buddha is always with us. We are always together because Amitabha always remembers sentient beings, and sentient beings always remember Amitabha. Amitabha Buddha and sentient beings are one in one body, inseparable. Amitabha Buddha and sentient beings are in one body, inseparable. Okay? Under normal circumstances, we mainly recite Namo Amitabha Buddha. When we practice in the Buddhist hall, we also recite Namo Amitabha Buddha while sitting or walking. When we sleep, we can just recite Amitabha. Or if we are very sick and we cannot recite the 6-character Namo Amitabha, we can just recite the 4-character Amitabha or 2-character. For example, Mito, or just 1 character for. At the near end of our life, if we cannot utter any words, we can simply be aware that Amitabha will come to deliver us. It still works because the 6-character name represents Amitabha Buddha himself. This is very important for us to remember and understand. It still works because the 6-character name represents Amitabha Buddha himself. as do the 4-character or 2-character name. It is all the same. The only difference is that the 6-character name is complete. There is a special meaning in Amitabha's 6-character name. It represents the oneness of Amitabha Buddha and sentient beings without duality. Buddha and sentient beings are one entity. Our aptitudes and the teachings of Amitabha are one entity. It also represents the way that Amitabha Buddha dedicates his merit and virtues to us and accords with Amitabha's deliverance. We interact and interconnect with each other. The 4-character name may lack this significant meaning. We should mainly recite the 6-character version of the name. However, it does not mean it must be the 6-character version. Under certain circumstances, if we cannot recite the 6-character name in its complete form, we can change it to the 4-letter or 2-character, 4-character or 2-character, or even 1-character versions. All are acceptable. We are healthy at present and can recite the 6-character name, so we should. Though the 4-character name is simplified, it may lead some people unconsciously to self-powered practice, as they don't understand the meaning of the 6-character name. For instance, they may recite it faster and faster, wishing to pacify their distracted mind or anticipating the attainment of fruition. In that way, the mind of self-power becomes mixed in their practice. Conversely, if the practitioner does not involve any self-power in the practice and wishes to subdue his mind through entirely relying on the power of Amitabha Buddha, that's just fine. As you see, we can recite in a variety of ways. The most important factor is whether we entirely rely on Amitabha Buddha and fully entrust in his fundamental vow. This is a very important concept, so I want to repeat this one. The most important factor is whether we entirely rely on Amitabha Buddha and fully entrust in his fundamental vow. If we understand this principle and have faith in it, whatever we recite is correct. However, we normally recite the 6-character name. Normally, we recite Amitabha's name orally, but when we sleep, we can recite Amitabha's name by heart. Or when we are sick or physically weak, if we have difficulty in breathing or opening our mouths, we can remember Amitabha Buddha and be mindful of him. At the near end of our life, if we cannot perform oral recitation because our tongue is almost numb, we can simply recite within our minds. Maybe a person who hasn't ever learned Buddhism meets a caring friend, telling him of rebirth through simple Amitabha recitation at the end of his life. However, he cannot recite orally because his tongue and lips are almost numb. Though he is still conscious, he is near death. Just before his last breath, he doesn't have enough time to recite Namo Amituofo, but his mind is secure in thinking of Amitabha Buddha at the moment of his last breath. He can still be reborn. It is said in the sutra, think upon hearing, securing this thought without confusion. Amitabha recitation throughout one lifetime, short remembrance or recitation in mind, or just a moment before death, is related to long or short duration. It refers to one lifetime or a moment before death. It is also the meaning of even 10 times, as stated in the 18th vow. We can apply the count 10 method during Amitabha recitation. If we recite with the aid of beats, we can move one beat after reciting 10 times. We don't need to recite very fast. If we do, we won't know whether we recited or thought of other things. During Amitabha recitation, we should be relaxed and free. Recite the name clearly, word by word, and move one beat with every 10 recitations. we can finish the whole string of beats without noticing the passage of time. In this manner, we will become energized and calm at the same time. It is most suitable for recitation in the Buddhist halls of our school, for people of different ages and genders, for walking, standing, sitting, and lying at the near end of our life or in regular daily life. We listen to our voice while reciting Amitabha's name. At the same time, we can count by 10 within. In this way, we close our eyes, open our mouths to recite, listen to our own voices with our ears, and count the number within our hearts. This is the meaning of the convergence of all 6 roots. Okay, I repeat this concept. We listen to our voice while reciting Amitabha's name. At the same time, we can count by 10 within. In this way, we close our eyes, open our mouths to recite, listen to our own voices with our ears, and count the number within our hearts. This is the meaning of the convergence of all 6 roots. Despite practicing to achieve mental focus, we know that the deliverance of Amitabha's fundamental vow is unconditional. So it does not mean we must achieve the convergence of the 6 roots in order to have rebirth. Sentient beings will be reborn by the simple recitation of Amitabha's name. However, when we get the rare chance to meet together and recite Amitabha's name, if we are single-minded and concentrated, isn't it more joyful? During single-minded and concentrated recitation while seated, our backs should be straight but not rigid. We should try to be mentally and physically relaxed. Sitting properly means we don't have to pay attention to our bodies and we can focus on Amitabha's name entirely. Then, one recitation after the other, our minds will be in a state of serenity. I think I am going to stop here because this is a rather long article, so it will probably take us a few meetings to finish it. But I rather take it slowly so that we all understand it. You have time to digest it and absorb it. So this is where I will end today, and we'll pick it up the next time we meet. Please join palms and recite Amitabha Buddha 3 times with me. Namo Amitofo. Namo Amitofo. Namo Amitofo. Please release your palms.
Today we received 3 questions, and we invite Master Jingtung to give us answers to those questions. The first one, like that, how important it is that we continuously have faith and chant. I find faith and my chanting practice come and go. Is this an issue? If so, how to maintain consistency? Master Jingtung, please.
Thank you for the question. There is an article titled The Importance of Faith, Embracing Amitabha's Deliverance on our website. So if you want more detail, I'd recommend that you go and find that article. But I will give a very brief answer to your question. Faith plays a crucial role in our lives. It represents our deepest conviction, beliefs so fundamental that we even consider them more valuable than life itself. That's the definition of faith in the Pure Buddhism. These are the principles we live by, and if necessary, would die for. They elevate us beyond our daily routines, much like the celestial bodies above inspire us to look beyond ourselves. Now, unlike the visible sun, moon, and stars, faith is intangible. It resides within our hearts and minds. It acts as a guiding light, illuminating our life's path. Those without faith are like travelers in darkness, lacking purpose and direction. They are unaware of life's origin or their destiny after death, missing the promise of eternal joy and peace. Instead, they wander aimlessly, driven by karma into endless cycles of transmigration. Amitabha's unconditional deliverance is proactive, needing no prayers or pleas. It doesn't depend on one's wisdom, education, spiritual practice, or moral standing. The only question is, will you accept Amitabha's offer of salvation? If you believe, accept his deliverance, aspire for rebirth in his Pure Land, and recite Amitabha Buddha, or I should say Namo Amitabha Buddha, because remember I mentioned the sixth character is more complete. So you recite Namo Amitabha Buddha. If you do that, everything is perfectly fulfilled. When I recite Amitabha's name, Amitabha thinks of me. We are always together, inseparable, like fire consuming wood. This unity exists because his name and essence are one, always embracing those who recite his name. Thus, Amitabha's virtues fill their hearts. His light shields them, and at life's end, he personally receives them into his Pure Land. Amitabha and I are united. Thus, in those who recite his name, Amitabha's presence manifests all the time. Now, as the saying goes, one's genuine intentions are revealed through their actions. This implies that what one truly holds in their mind naturally manifests in their words and deeds. Similarly, individuals who wholeheartedly believe in and rely on Amitabha Buddha, earnestly aspiring to be reborn in the land of ultimate bliss, and to display a nonchalant attitude towards worldly matters. For them, rebirth in the land of ultimate bliss is of utmost importance, the sole purpose of their entire life. Someone who has faith in Amitabha's salvation and aspires for rebirth in the land of bliss surely feels indifferent to delusive and distracting thoughts. Instead, they hold Amitabha's name as paramount in their hearts. Consequently, they naturally recite aloud Namo Amitabha Buddha, Namo Amitabha Buddha, Namo Amitabha Buddha, at any time and in any place. They may also recite in silence, whether in a Buddha hall, in bathroom, or any other location. With a mind imbued with earnestness and reverence, they cling steadfastly to this belief and never waver in it. So faith is really, really important. Okay. And in my Dharma talk earlier, I mentioned that you can recite Amitabha's name with a concentrated or distracted mind. So either way, it works. What is not how you do it. What works is the sixth character name, because Amitabha, when he fulfilled his vow, when he made his 18th vow, he offered this salvation to us, right? So all we have to do is accept that gift.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Master.
and we are ordinary beings, so it is common to have our practice come and go. I think I touched on this one in my Dharma talk earlier. So if you can refer back to it when Alan Jingtung posted the recording, you might listen to it. I think I touched on that part. So how do you maintain consistency? I believe I also touched on that part in my Dharma talk. You set a specific period of time or specific number of recitations per day to start with. Okay, so especially if you're a beginner, you're not to reciting Amitabha Buddha's name all the time. It is important to you get into this habits of reciting Amitabha Buddha. Once your habit, become established, then and you get that Dharma joy, And you do not need to be pushed by others, or other people do not have to say, oh, hey, don't forget to recite Amitabha Buddha. You will automatically do it. It's all natural. The word natural is used a lot of times in Buddhist sutras. Natural means you do not have to put any effort in it. Now, if something is so important to you, you will automatically go and do it, right? Remember, sometimes when a person sees a beautiful girl, wants to date the girl, he would go and do his best in whatever way he can to impress that girl so that he will get the dates. Right? This is the kind of mindset you have to have with this recitation. Hey, and there's nothing out there that deserves my attention but Amitabha recitation. Why? Because this is the only way and the only method that can get me to the land of bliss in this lifetime. Now, if this sinks in, you do not need to be pushed by others. You automatically will pick up Amitabha recitation wherever you are at any time, in any locations, and under any circumstances. Now, remember, we're ordinary sentient beings. Some of us do not necessarily have the luxury of reciting all day, like if you're living in the temple, but do your best. Remember, I have given a talk on Nianfo according to your own roots. What works best for you is what you should start with. But I would say fix the time or fix the number of recitations a day and start your day with recitations and end your day with recitations. Now, if you can, even if you can just put aside 20 minutes a day and do the concentrated mind recitation. And then throughout your work, do the distracted mind recitation. So in that case, you will be continuously reciting Amitabha's name without cessation throughout. And if you keep doing this, someday you will find that your practice won't come and go like it does now. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Master Jingtung. The second question is like this. I have recently read that we can encounter Namo Amitofo's light while we are still alive. What would you recommend to enhance our chance of seeing Amitofo's light?
Okay. Encountering Namo Amitabha's light is not something that every one of us will experience. It's just like seeing the Buddha. It's not our ability that enables us to see a Buddha, and it's the Buddha makes it possible for us to see him. It's just like Queen Valeda. Shakyamuni Buddha wanted her to see, the Amitabha Buddha and the Pure Land. So he manifested and then give her the ability to actually see and Amitabha Buddha in person. So we are empowered by the Buddha to see them or to see the light. Now, of course, some people have paranormal power. They actually see lights when we are reciting. Now, if you remember, part of our attributes is that we do not seek special special feelings or special events, okay, such as seeing the Buddha in person or seeing his light. If it happens, so be it. We are happy that it happens. But we do not go with the mindset of, I am going to recite this much so that I can actually see the Amitabha's light. Okay? If you can ask Amitabha Buddha, you can pray to Amitabha Buddha, I would like to see the light. If you read some of our eyewitness accounts, the little girl who visited the Pure Land, um, encountered Amitabha Buddha, and she recited Amitabha's name with a pure, innocent heart. And Amitabha granted her wish, show her the Pure Land, right? So you can do the same. But what I want to stress is, if you can ask, but you have to ask. When we ask the Buddha for help, we have to have the right attitude, and that is we ask, and the answer is not necessarily what we want. If we say, I want this, there's no longer asking. You are demanding, I want this to happen. When we ask, we have to have the aptitude and the right attitude, the mindset that says, if granted, I am grateful. If not granted, I am equally grateful, because Buddha knows best. He can see into our future, into our past, or what karmic obstacles that we may have. So whatever decision that Buddha decides, whether we see the light or not the light, that will be the best for us at that moment. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Master Jingtung. Now we come to the last question. I was wondering what Sifu thought of the main differences or similarities between Chinese and Japanese Pure Land practice.
Well, this is a very loaded question, and you can actually spend hours on this particular question. And in fact, both Master Huijing and Master Jingtung have given talks about the differences. So because of the time we have for the Q&A, I'm going to try and see if I can give a very simplified answer. So like I said, this really requires a very detailed look into the Chinese as well as the Japanese Pure Land practice. But let's see if I can give you some simple understanding of that. Okay. Now, Japanese Pure Land school, the founder, the de facto founder of that is Master Honen. Okay, and Master Honen follows Master Shandao's teaching. And you have to understand that Master Shandao's work was lost in China for over 1,000 years, but luckily it went into Japan, and then Master Honen encountered that one, and then he when he formed his school, it's exactly like what Master Shandao taught. Okay, so we have no argument about that. So, but then after Master Shonen, he has his disciples, right? So, and then I think there are 5 different schools that his disciples extended. They each have their own characteristics in their own school. They are still Pure Land, but they each school will have their own characteristic, and they have very exquisite points that they cover. So now, if you compare that to the Chinese Pure Land system, is Master Shandao's is the most pristine, the purest, right? But then after his teaching was lost in China, then other schools will also teach about Pure Land, but they will merge it with their own school's teaching. Like Tiantai school will explain the Pure Land using the Tiantai concept, and the Zen school will use the Zen concept when they come to explaining the Pure Land. So and also in how they should practice to get to the land of bliss, they're all mixed, merged with their own school's teaching. So it's no longer pristine, no longer pure, right? So it's the same thing. After Master Honen, the different branches, they will have their own interpretation. They may have a like I said, certain exquisite points. They are very, very detailed in particular in certain things. But our job is not to ridicule other schools, okay? We do not have the ability to do that. Okay? So, but we, in our attribute, remember, we respect the others. We need to understand what we do. So we do not stand with any of those branches or oppose them. Okay. So, but what we need to do is we go back to the foundation. Where is the foundation? To Master Shandao. Because Master Honen got his teachings from Master Shandao. So Master Shandao is the de facto founder of our lineage. So where can we learn the most pristine teaching from Master Shandao himself? Okay. So if throughout those Japanese Pure Land school teachings, if they matches what Master Shandao teaches, we could use it. We probably won't use the 100% of it, but if we find some that matches Master Shandao's teaching, we can use those to elaborate on our points. Right? These Japanese schools sometimes because they're so exquisite, they touch on very exquisite points. It falls into becoming very theoretical of more like a philosophy. And in terms of spreading the Dharma, is not as convenient, right? Whereas our school is practice recitation. Everybody, whatever aptitude, whatever ability, whatever virtuous roots, anyone who wants to can practice and can recite Amitabha's name. So there lies a difference, right? So yes, there are differences and there are similarities. There will be. Why? Because they all came from Master Honen's teaching, and Master Honen's teaching came from Master Shandao. So you will see similarities, but of course you will also see the differences. Okay, so unless you are planning on exploring the different Dharma schools and have a very good foundation in Pure Land Buddhism, my advice is to stay focused on Master Shandao's teaching first. Okay, if you have mastered that, then you say, okay, I want to read a little bit more about the Japanese schools. Like I said, you can take and pick whatever you can use to elaborate on your own talk. Yeah, so that's feasible, that's doable. Okay. I don't know if I have answered your question. I try my best, but like I said, this is a very, very deep question, and it is a topic in its own. Someday, perhaps we can find an article explaining that. Thank you.
Thank you, Master Jingtung. Is there any following up question from the floor, especially those who raised these questions? Any follow-up? Because we already exceed the scheduled times. So if no other follow-up questions, I'll call conclusion of this session. Thank you very much for everyone to participate. Namo Amituofo.